You just can't have success after success after success. Eventually you're gonna have a failure. Or in the songwriting case, you can have a lot of songs that just aren't quite there. If you only ever won, you'd go, oh, I know everything, and you'd never learn anything new. You have to have imagination, and I encourage people to have a wild imagination. We've failed a bunch. We still make mistakes every single day. Just try to show people, look, we got here because of the work and all of that, but also because we believed. And if we can believe in ourselves coming from nothing, why can't you?
Hello from Malibu, and welcome to the Get Radical Show. We know that how you're feeling on the inside is felt by the world. So we're committed to radical results and nothing less, and not a better person to kick off radical results and nothing less than my friend James Maslow, who not only is he a prolific artist, writer, singer, and now DJ, but literally started out in the choir in church, where he got his beginnings of refining his art, which takes him here today, fortunately, to share with us part of that journey. He's gone from child star to now creating a star of his own in himself, which I just love, that you're literally creating your dream, your radical dream, and you're making it individual as opposed to being part of something. You are laying the groundwork and you are the foundation of that thing.
Well, first of all, I couldn't ask for a kinder intro. Thank you very much.
Well, it could
Thank you for having me.
There's so many things to say about you. I was saying earlier, you're so multitasking.
I don't even know where to start sometimes. You're too kind,
I can't even get you down in one place.
But look, it's amazing to be part of something. I've been part of some amazing things, from Big Time Rush. I was part of that boy band, that process, that TV show. But it is also, and sometimes even more exciting, to create something from scratch. And that's the journey that I'm on now. And that's, it's all coming to fruition after several years of doing independent movies and trying to navigate where do I want to be as an actor, to writing tons of music that I will never put out, and then finally writing a few songs that are pretty good.
I think they're amazing.
Well, the ones I've put out, but it took a lot of music, a lot of time, and sessions that you'll never hear, because that's part of the process, to being where I am today, which is exciting as all of these things come to fruition, specifically in the music space. As you mentioned, now DJ, I just launched, kind of a soft launch, but just began really a lifelong passion project with my best friend, who Eugene Ugorski, called LTX. So we put out our first song, and we're just starting to DJ. And I can't wait, because we're going to be doing something that him and I have been talking about doing for literally over a decade. And
wow.
As much as I love everything else that I've done before, this is my best friend and I just completely imagining and creating everything we want from scratch. And the fact that it's just started, we're already ecstatic and so grateful that it's beginning to work. And I just want to keep going and driving, being tenacious. We'll talk about one of my favorite words, tenacity, as long as we can, and keep growing it into the business, the life that we want.
So you mentioned 10 years ago, it's been a work in process. There's two things that you were mentioning that I really love. One, you said that you have written a lot of songs and you've got a lot of tracks that will never see the light of day.
Ever.
I just can't even believe that, because you were so kind to have me over to your place, and I was listening to song after song, and you literally managed, wrote, produced everything, every nuance of it, and I was like, this is poetry in the making.
Oh, you're so nice. Well, you're hearing the better ones of the bunch, I mean, even the best songwriters and the best producers and the best artists, you can't possibly write a hit every single time. I think that probably goes with any business. You just can't have success after success after success. Eventually you're gonna have a failure. Or in the songwriting case, you can have a lot of songs that just aren't quite there, but it's through those failures that you learn, no matter what you're doing. And Arnold actually said in an interview I watched many years ago that really inspired me. He said, so many people are afraid of failure. And he's like, that's crazy. That's the only time you learn. If you only ever won, you'd go, oh, I know everything, and you'd never learn anything new. So we've failed a bunch. We still make mistakes every single day, but through those, the more that you do, whether it's good or bad, the more you can learn. And well, with music, it's getting better, and it's at a point now where we have a bunch of music that we do think is great, that we are so proud of, and we can't wait to share all of that with the world.
So if you said 10 years ago you had this vision or this goal and you've been working towards it, tell me about what were those steps? Like you were visualizing this? Did you see the movie of where you are today in your mind? How did that occur to you? Because I know there's many, many people, including myself, that, it's part of that gestation process. Like even our Get Radical show, this is something we're expressing ourselves day by day. And, we're a work in progress because our commitment, our ultimate commitment is to share and transform the world through conversations that matter. So what was it for you 10 years ago? Where were you seeing your journey? And how did those steps actually get you to where you are today?
Sure. Well, I think imagining it is absolutely the first step. You have to have imagination. And I encourage people, have a wild imagination. Don't imagine, I want a job that's pretty good. Well, then maybe you'll get a job that's pretty good, but more likely you'll probably settle with one that's not even pretty good. But imagine, if you will, I want a job that's amazing. I want to make just something exponential, exuberant. There's nothing wrong with that, because then even if you don't get there, if you get halfway there, it's probably way better than pretty good. And that's what Eugene and I did over 10 years ago. We both were doing our music and our own careers respectively. And yet we're talking about, hey, one day we're going to do this together. And we had all of these specific ideas, and that's changed. So I think that you have to be open to being malleable and having things not be exactly as you want. Because we didn't necessarily imagine DJing together and producing electronic music. That wasn't our first conversation. We always loved that music, but it was so many other things first, but that's what it's turned into. So then it was a year ago, which would have been maybe 12 years after the first time we had this conversation, that we said, this is the route. And since then, again, things are changing. We thought we were going to be in a certain market. We ended up in another market, but that we're okay with. It's exciting. So that's part of the process, no matter what you do, especially if you're an artist, because you just can't control everything.
Or the environment, like you were just saying, the environment changes. So you had a vision, you held it, and you decided to make it really, really big.
Yeah.
You said, instead of just going, something I think I can do, where you weren't inspired, you said, what if I had a really big vision that even if I got 3/4 of the way there, I'd be like rocking it out and loving my world. And then you started to envision it and feeling it. And funny enough, you ended up here with your best friend, actually launching this business, but it wasn't even in the sector of the industry that you thought you'd be in.
No, not initially. But things change. I mean, over a decade, of course, things are going to change. Taste is going to change. What hasn't changed is that initial passion and that initial vision of we're going to do something together. We're going to do music together. We're going to make each other better, help each other out. Because in life, there's so many great examples of this, but most successful people don't do it on their own. They usually have at least one partner, whether it's a buddy, business partner, family member, wife, husband, that is there with them alongside, helping those major decisions. And I mean, I'm lucky that I've had Eugene for all these years. And what's crazy is that, you have friends, you meet friends like, we're gonna be best friends. And then it's like 6 months go by and you're like, probably not gonna be best friends. And that's okay. Things change. But since, practically the day we met, nothing's changed with us. And it's cool to say 13 years later, we're more excited than we've ever been. And I can only imagine the next 13 years. So, yeah.
That's incredible. So my guess is it has a lot to do with your vibration. I know when I was over with you, looking at the two of you, looking at your music, looking at both of your passion level for where you were going, it was kind of meeting each other at the same level of obsession.
Yeah. If you've never met us, it can be a lot. Apologies in advance when you see us together in the same room, same conversation. It's actually why he's not here right now. We get nothing done. She wouldn't get a word in. Back to you. Yeah.
Back to me. As a matter of fact, he is here.
Yeah, he's around the corner. But,
he's around the corner. He's up next. He's around the corner. But having a vibration, having people, surrounding yourself with people that have a similar vibration, that want to be on the road and anchor some of the same characteristics that you find important on your journey. What have you found those to be? Because having a relationship, I don't care if it's a marriage, if it's a business partnership, which is even more difficult, frankly, and egos that get in the way, having a 13-year run and still just as passionate about the person as well as the project, what do you attribute that to?
I think it is kind of what you were alluding to, in that we just have the same real goals and a lot of the same things that drive us. For example, we not only believe, we want to make money. Who doesn't want to make money? That's a big part. We want to live a lifestyle. We want to buy a house on the beach like this. Those are great motivators. But him and I have always spoken about being able to encourage other people as well. Always spoken about giving back. And there's just so many things that align with him and I and how we want to conduct ourselves as human beings. In person, knowing when to shut off the banter, knowing when to not make a joke, and then joking everything in between. And then also what we want to do once we get there. So I think you have to, whatever relationship, partnership, any of that you're in, it's important to try and decipher and figure out what drives the other person. Because if you're in something only for the charitable aspect and they're in it only to make money, probably shouldn't be working together. And we see eye to eye on just about everything, which is it's very lucky. It's very unique.
I feel it's very reminiscent of my sister and I.
I can see that.
In that we had Radical Skincare for the last since 2011. We launched it into retail, etc. And we had some venture capitalists and big investors that we love, and they contributed a lot to the journey, for sure. But when it came to the giving back, when it came to the soul of who we are and what we stand for, why we wrote our book, Get Radical, Secrets to Creating a Life You Love. That's why we're doing this Get Radical show and have you here today. Because our real focus and what makes our heart beat is knowing that we're giving back and changing lives. So when you have a partnership where it was about, what are you doing? We're writing books, we're talking about passion, we're wanting to talk to people about changing lives. We're here to sell skincare. We're here to, it was like, but no, we just made this product to solve our skin issues. What really gives us joy is to share with the world. Of course we want to change skin. We've got you covered, but we want to change your life. So I love what you're saying. And how do you feel that giving plays a part in your ultimate journey?
Well, I think ultimately it's getting to a place where our bills are paid. Everything from family taken care of, the house, the vacations we want, all the things, and then there's excess. And I plan on getting there, and then the question is, what do you do with that excess? And I'm talking about excess beyond making sure that the eventual kids, far future, are taken care of in college. That sounds great. That's the ideal world. But then when you have the ability to give back, it's exciting to think that we could potentially, even if we change one person at each show, if we could play 200 shows a year and change one person each night, inspire them to follow their own dreams, that'd be 200 people a year. And I hope it could be even more than that. But it's just exciting to just try to show people, look, we got here because of the work and all of that, but also because we believed. And if we can believe in ourselves, coming from, nothing, no families in this industry, nothing, we just worked to get here and follow our talent, had that belief, why can't you? Whatever you want to do. And I've just met so many fans that they're huge, huge fans, but I'm going, that's amazing, thank you so much, but you've got a voice, or you've got some artistic ability, even if it's not, it's business, follow that. And it's amazing to me how many people don't have a Eugene. They don't have somebody telling them, yes, you do, go for it. And because we're lucky to have each other and have this, we want to kind of share that with other people. So we can just tell them, you can do this, go do it.
So it looks like you've been really good at either searching out mentors or having a partner that you admire so much that you become one another's mentors in different areas.
I think it takes both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, we still are finding and speaking to even new mentors to this day. I've been lucky enough to, my buddy Mike O'Hearn, he's one of the most successful bodybuilders in the world, been on more covers than anybody in history. I'm sure a lot of people here follow him on social media or have seen some of his covers. He's become a mentor in my life. And just a couple months ago, he invited me over to his house. Didn't know why. He said, be here at 8:30 in the morning. You're going to like this. Somebody, that stature, and a friend of mine says that. I said, cool, I'm there, no problem, schedule it in. And he had this kind of brain trust in the room. He had, 10 of his friends, myself included, which I felt so honored to be a part of. They were highly successful in different fields. Some owned 2,000 gyms. Other owned the biggest food prep service. A lot in fitness for him. And I was the youngest one by far. And it was so cool because not only did I get to learn about everybody's journey, get so motivated, so empowered by how everybody else worked. I also now have some of these people as my own personal mentors after the fact because Mike shared it. And I think that gets to one of my next favorite words or aspects what I think about with Eugene, and that's sharing. There's no reason to not share everything you've got for the most part in terms of like secrets. Like you'll see big producers who take years and years and years to create all these things, and they'll just put it out online. I think that's amazing because people can then go learn from it. Or in this case of Mike and fitness, like he shares his knowledge about how to work out, how to eat, what to do, and that information's out there. It's now up to us to go and absorb it and do it. And that's the sad reality, is that you can access just about any bit of information you want. We have the internet. We can,
Right.
But how many people actually do it? I mean, if you're overweight and you want to lose weight, we all kind of know the basic idea of it, right? Exercise and eat healthy. What does that mean? Google it. You can read and figure that out. But then you got to actually get your ass on a diet. Then you got to actually
do it
for years, eat well and it takes such discipline. And that applies to anything you want to do. And the more I look at people who are successful, like those people in Mike O'Hearn's house, the more I realize they are regimented. They want that success, that business, whether it's for them, their family, whatever it is, they want it so badly, they're willing to sacrifice every single day, whether it's what they want to eat, their travel, their sleep, they're sacrificing quite a bit every day, but then they're living these extraordinary lives. And I am willing to do that. I'll get less sleep, so then I can live this fantasy life that I'm already getting a taste of in my 20s that I, as a young kid, only imagined.
Yeah.
But that imagination started it.
You are incredible. I mean, you are really an old soul. I've got to tell you, from the first second I met you, it's like, I can't get enough of James. Can't get enough of you.
It's your way of saying I speak too much, but thank you very much.
No, not at all. And at least, thank God, what you talk about is something that is really motivational to so many people. And if we could just take 1/10 of what you said here and apply a little bit, it will totally change the trajectory of your life.
I hope so. But look, even as disciplined as I am, it's so nice to sit next to someone else who feels the same way, does the same thing. I mean, what you sacrifice to create your dream and then to share it. Ironically, you have to sacrifice more to give more, but it also fills you up as a human being because doing good feels good. I can only imagine doing bad all the time feels bad. I don't want to do that. So I always thought of it this way too, not to go on too much of a tangent, but every time I meet somebody in the industry who I'm coming in and they expect one thing and they get something else, and they go, I didn't expect you to be so nice or on time or all of this. I just kind of think, like, wouldn't it be so much more difficult to be a dick all the time? Wouldn't that be a harder life to live, to be rude to everybody all the time and then expect them to want to do anything for you or get anything done? So I always laugh and make a joke out of it, and I'm just like, well, I just don't get it. Like, if I was rude to you right now, I'm going to ask you to do something later. I want this piece to look great. Whatever level we're at, like, I want you to want to do it. It's just, that's what I've always thought. I've looked at the people that I respect, and they are just that, so respectful. And that's a really important part of my life and how I want to conduct myself in business as well.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And I wanted to hand to you today a radical billboard that we're going to light up for you.
Yeah.
And the question is, what word is James Maslow going to put on his radical billboard?
Well, we started speaking about tenacity. And it's one of my favorite words because I didn't know what it meant when I was younger, and I had to look it up too. But by all means, look it up. It basically is the unwillingness to let go. And in this case, I look at that as dreams, the unwillingness to let go of your dreams. Have that tenacity of your dreams. And hopefully that word resonates with someone else watching this, and they go out and go, absolutely, I can do that, and I will do that. And they just don't let go. They don't stop.
That is part of this radical journey, and what we believe so much in is people that have conversations that matter, being able to share them with others. And what I love about your message, James, is that it doesn't have an age. It doesn't have a demographic. And we talked about, you've got a massive following, over 2 million people that talk to you daily, that are messaging you, that are liking you and loving you and all these things. But I sit there and I love you every day. And, that spans a couple of decades there. So when you speak about something that's inspiring, it's a real gift. And I can't tell you, you've made me say, yeah, I better get back to that drawing board and get radically fit like you, because what you share is unbelievable. I'm so grateful for
Well, you're
your
doing
taking the time
quite
today.
well yourself,
And
and you
you're
inspire me
really,
as well. Honestly, you really do. Not only from what you've accomplished with your business, but you ever since we met, you've just been one of the kindest people that I've ever met. And I think there are a lot of people that kind of can put that front on, but over time you see, oh, that was disingenuous. They were just pretending to be kind. I don't think you can pretend if you wanted. This is who you are. And I love that you're sharing this with everybody and bringing your friends on to help us say our little message, because it really is important. So thank you very
it's
much.
not a little message, by the way. It was a big message. And this is such a good show that it's one of those that I'm going to keep listening to and re-listening to, because I do my hour of power every day in
Love
the
that.
gym, and I listen and learn and listen and learn. And it's in the repetition of being inspired and remembering. You know, it
Yeah.
like brings you back. So when you're having a bad day, or you're feeling maybe a little bit frustrated and things
Sure.
aren't going the way you'd like to, I'm going to think about you 10 years ago, tanking a lot of songs, keep going and seeing the vision and not giving up and being tenacious, because that's one of my favorite words too.
Awesome.
So
That
thanks
means a
for
lot.
being
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thanks for having me.
And I can't wait to the next time, because this is a long story, a long chapter. Let's keep turning the page.
Still writing more.
I know. Thank you.
James Maslow needs his own podcast. That's what I think. That was unbelievable. When he was talking about failing, if you're not failing, you're not trying. I don't know how many times my sister and I have said that. We say that all the time. You have to be failing to be trying. Mistakes, that's what you have to make mistakes. Amazing. You got to believe. You have to believe in your dreams, you know, tenacity. You have to just like keep fighting for what you want. I loved it. I'm going to listen to that again in like 5 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up. And guys, if you're going to YouTube, check us out on our Radical Skincare YouTube channel. If Instagram at Radical Skincare, and on our Facebook, Radical Skincare. So make sure you go make comments, talk about how James Maslow just inspired you to go shoot for the stars and dream big. And make sure you make those comments, because you know every week we collect all those comments, all your names, and we will select somebody with a $100 credit to go onto radicalskincare.com and to have a radical shopping spree.